Let's talk, David, to get back on course, because you're a real smart guy and can maybe save us. First of all, had you been hearing about Rex Tillerson's concerns regarding Donald Trump and how he was trying to navigate a job that actually he didn't really even want, but his wife said, you got no choice. When your country calls, you've got to serve your country. It's been good to you. You've got to be good back.
Joe, I have been hearing this for many weeks. Tillerson is an unusual figure in Washington. He really is a diffident guy. His standoffishness with the press is reflected in his standoffishness toward Congress. Doesn't try to pal around with the White House, doesn't talk to the people who recommended him for the job, who were thought to be his mentors. It's just kind of a lone guy. I wrote about him a few weeks ago. His basic idea is, you can take this job and shove it. I don't need it.
Yeah.
So I think that's been central for him. But in recent weeks, he has really gotten estranged from the president himself. The president thinks that Tillerson is off on his own. The president felt dissed by Tillerson's comment after Charlottesville. The president only speaks for himself. Tillerson got it badly wrong this last weekend in Beijing. Tillerson thought that he was delivering the president's message, that we're trying to communicate, we want to do diplomacy, we not seeking nuclear war here. He didn't clear those words, apparently, with the White House, and the White House was really furious. His spokesman thought, no, it's not a message from the president to Rex, it's a message to Pyongyang. No, it was a message to Rex. So, as I said in the earlier block with Carol, I'm not sure where this is going to end up. Tillerson's either going to have to apologize directly, or Mattis is going to have to say, Mr. President, we need him. He's my wingman. But something's got to happen now.
No.
Wow.
What do you think Trump will? I mean this in a very serious way. What do you think Trump's reaction to being called a moron in this reporting is going to be today over the next 24 hours?
You never know, and you never know.
By the Secretary of State, that is.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, this
I'm
is
just glad to hear that somebody in his administration actually feels that way.
This is the sort of thing that it's very easy for both sides to say, fake news, the press got it wrong,
right.
Rex never said it. I know Rex. Rex is a great guy, and that all depends on whether General Mattis does need Rex Tillerson by his side,
right.
And whether all the generals stand shoulder to shoulder and say, you really need to keep Rex here. But
they will say fake news, but I want to point out Carol Lee and our NBC News team have several senior administration officials all telling them they were in the meeting and heard him say it. So keep that in mind when they say it's fake news.
It's triple sourced, I think.
Right. Also keep in mind that this White House, and David Ignatius, we need to go to break, but this is such an important point to make. This White House, even before they were in the White House, the Trump team, has been skeptical not only of the intel community, but especially of the State Department. If you talk to Donald Trump or anybody close to Donald Trump after the election, their entire goal was cutting the knees out from underneath a State Department that they believed would do nothing but try to undercut their own agenda.
You know, I think, Joe, that they have this deep suspicion of the permanent government, the deep state, as people on the right sometimes say. The funny thing is that Tillerson had that too. You couldn't ask for a Secretary of State who kept the bureaucracy at more distance than Rex Tillerson has done. But I do think that suspicion is present. One interesting thing, if you look at Mike Pompeo at CI, who the president likes, Mike Pompeo has gotten the trust of most of his workforce. There's still some questions, in a way that Rex Tillerson hasn't. Pompeo is often rumored to be the guy the president would bring into the White House if he could add another person. He just seems to like him. But that's an interesting comparison. Pompeo has the president's trust, seems to get along with his workforce. Tillerson, not so much.
I think also there was sort of a plan in the works along the edges to have Jared really be the Secretary of State de facto in some way. So that built in some competition as well.
That certainly was the belief, that they were going to run everything from either the White House or New York. They say that's changed now, and there is no interest in Jared being the de facto Secretary of State.
David Ignatius, thank you so much. Still ahead, the great
David.
Bob Schieffer will be here.
Is that all we get of David? We need more David.
I know. And columnist George Will joins the table as well. We'll be right back.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.